Hey guys, welcome to Wrestling Daze and welcome to this Crown Jewel preview and predictions video. I've got so much to talk about. There's good things, there's bad things, there's excitement, there's frustrations. This is one of the weirdest shows of the year, but that's good because it gives us loads of talking points. So let's get started, shall we? We'll start with where it's taking place because that is critical to everything we're going to talk about. It's taking place in Saudi Arabia. Why is that critical? Because they spend a lot of money on these shows, so they don't just want a B show. They want something more, but WWE don't seem to build up to these shows any different. The build is the same time frame and the same sort of build that you would get for any other B show. We don't treat this as like WrestleMania season. This isn't Crown Jewel season. But if we were to do that, we would end up with a much more satisfactory show, right? It's really weird. The build is a B show build, but then they try to make the show like an A show. You know, big stage, big stars, big stipulations, normally some legends. You know, they do try to elevate it above other B shows. I suppose in a way it's a B plus show, isn't it, really? It's not WrestleMania. It's not SummerSlam. It's not Royal Rumble. But equally, it probably is a step above Clash at the Castle, you know? So, yeah, this is going to be at the Mohammed Abdo Arena because of that weird situation where, you know, it's a B-plus show. It's not an A show. It's not a B show. Saudi spend a lot of money, but equally, we don't give it any more of a build. We end up with some very weird results. Right, we end up with some very weird things. So we're going to talk about those as we work our way through. We're going to predict them. We're going to talk about each match. Let's get into it, right? We're going to start with this. I'm going to get my frustration out the way with this. I don't mind this as a match, but I think it works better if the champions are heels, because if they had interfered with all of these teams, right, and then you've got Nick Aldis saying, oh, you want to interfere with all these teams? Well, now you can face all of these teams, and actually the champs then get punished. That makes a lot more sense to me, because this is a very unfair match. Like, Lash could pin EO, and then all of a sudden these two are tag champs. Like, these don't even need to be involved. The odds are stacked against the champions, right? And for them to turn around and be so happy about it, be so excited about it. I think Jade even said, oh, I love this for us. And it's like, I just so hope they lose the titles. It's such a stupid comment. I've had people get in touch going, no, you don't understand. They're fighting champions. They want these kind of challenges. For me, that's just stupidness, right? That's just, honestly, like, I understand fighting champions. I understand defending your belts each week. But being put in a situation where you might lose these belts and it's unfair, right? Because Chelsea could pin EO, they're no longer champs. Piper could pin Kyrie, they're no longer champs, right? They can't be everywhere all at once. And, you know, if these two are beating them up, that just leaves these two to have a match, these two teams. If one of the teams win, bye-bye belts. This isn't a situation you should be thrilled about being put into. If you want to be a fighting champion, defend it against, you know, these two at the show, and then defend it against these two on Monday, and then defend it against these two in NXT, right? You can still be fighting champions, but at least then your 3 matches are all fair. It's in your hands. I actually think, with that being said, you could tweak this so that it makes a bit more sense for a championship match. I think, like, if Chelsea pins EO, then Damage Control should be eliminated, but the match continues. If Piper pins Jakara, these two should be eliminated, but the match continues. I think you should only become champion if you pin either Bianca or Jade. I think that would be a really good change to introduce into these kinds of matches. In regards to who wins, I think Bianca Jade retain. I think the plan is that they will end up going against each other at WrestleMania. The question is, when do you take the tag titles off them to then start the turn and work towards WrestleMania? So I think these two turn, or Jade turns on Bianca, or more likely Bianca turns on Jade. I think actually we could be looking at a heel Bianca. That's a big call because Bianca's got a lot of young fans, but I think that she's been faced for quite a while, and I think she's someone that we could definitely explore the heel side. So yeah, I think they keep the titles. I think they'll take them off of them, maybe a little closer towards WrestleMania. But where I've just ranted about that last match, I'm going to actually put praise on this one. This one hasn't had the longest builds. Kevin only turned a few weeks ago, only beat up Randy Orton the other week, right? And now, lo and behold, here we are. We're having this match. I thought the Triple H Randy segment the other day was really good. I really enjoyed that. I thought that Triple H doing the classic, I'm not trying to protect him, I'm trying to protect you. We've seen that a few times in WWE history. It puts Kevin over, even though he's not there, as being this really dangerous threat. You know, you've just come back from like so long and so much time off. Like, you know, I want to make sure that you're not put back on the shelf again. I think, for me, Kevin should win this. If this is the start of a rebranded Kevin Owens, then he needs to get the win here, because a rebranded Kevin Owens should not fail at the first obstacle he faces. He should get a big statement win against Randy Orton. Randy will be fine. Randy can always bounce back, right? He's like, what, a 14-time world champion? I've no doubt that he will add to that in the future. I've no doubt he'll face John Cena next year, for example. But Kevin's always someone that needs a bit of help. You know, he's not someone that can always just bounce back. He'll always be used. There's always a place for Kevin. But I don't think we've maximized Kevin. I don't think Kevin has had the amount of main events that he should have. I don't think he's had the amount of world title runs that he should have. I think he is still someone that needs pushing and supporting, and dare I say, maybe still hasn't had the run that we remember him for. He might not have had his bloodline run yet, just like how Roman has. So I think Orton should put Kevin over. I don't want to see Kevin falling at the first obstacle, but where I'm gonna kind of criticize this match type, right? I'm gonna praise the kind of build for this, even though it was very short. I thought there was some really good segments in there, so they've done well with that. This one, just a little grumble. I really hated what they did with match 7 between these two. It actually made LA Knight come across like a heel. I know he isn't, but the fact that he ruined a match that we wanted to see because that series has been so good. You know, he was guest ref. He ended up screwing it all up, getting involved. I know there was reasons for it. He shouldn't have been there in the first place. And so now we've ended up with this triple threat. I think that we will see LA Knight retain. I don't know that it's time for him to move to a world title. He's on SmackDown. We know that Cody's got the world title on SmackDown. I don't see an opportunity for LA Knight with that title. You know, you've got some big names circling around that belt that Cody has got. Rock, Roman, Solo, maybe Randy in the future. Even Kevin, a heel Kevin, carries a threat. I can't see LA Knight in the mix. So if the world title is out of the question, well, what else is there for him to do? Team with someone and become a tag champ? I don't know. I mean, obviously he can go into a few feuds, but ideally I would say keep it on him. Keep the United States Championship on him, and then keep working towards WrestleMania. And then hopefully afterwards in the draft he goes to Raw, and I think he stands a better chance of getting the World Heavyweight Championship than he does getting the WWE Championship. So, yeah, I would like to see Andrade win this. I don't mind. I think Carmelo would look great with it as well. But I just think LA Knight has paid his dues. He's finally got this championship. I don't see what else there would be for him if he loses it. So I'm going to say that he retains as well. Now, more praise. I think the build for this has been probably the best builds. It's been the longest. Granted, Seth has just been on the shelf, you know? So there was like, was it 5 tsunamis that he hit on Seth? Seth then went away. Now he's come back. Now we've got this match. But at least this was put in place like quite a long time ago. At least this wasn't just the past few weeks. This came out of nowhere. So I'm going to put a bit of praise onto this. Great platform for Bronson Reed to be on as well. He deserves this stage. I'm very excited to see Big Bronson Reed against Seth. I think this will be a good match. I think Bronson should win. Seth's only come back and had one match since coming back from all of those tsunamis. It was a dark match against Dominic. Seth knows how to wrestle. I appreciate that. But ring rust is also a very real thing. If Seth loses to Bronson, he's got that as an excuse. And we can do a rematch, like at the next show, where, or, you know, on a Raw or whatever. And, you know, Seth can then get a victory, make it 1-1. But I don't think Seth winning here makes Bronson look very good because Seth's been away injured. Now he's back. He just beats Bronson. I personally would have Bronson win. As a result, I hope Bronson does win. And then, as we said, Seth can always blame ring rust. So let's talk here about the champion thing. And let's talk about another rant. Oh my God, this is pointless, right? This is pointless. Champion versus champion does not mean anything. This doesn't need to happen. It doesn't achieve anything. They win a Crown Jewel championship, which means nothing. They're trying to make these Crown Jewel championships feel special by showing all these security guards, bringing them in. They're bejeweled. They're worth like $1 billion each or whatever, you know? The actual value of them is nothing. They're the Crown Jewel championships. It's a belt that's named after like a B+ show. I've joked before, it's like having an Elimination Chamber championship. It's like having a Backlash championship, right? Like, it doesn't matter. A WrestleMania championship that was defended at every year's WrestleMania might be different, but that's WrestleMania. Crown Jewel championship, right? No. And it just doesn't mean anything. It doesn't matter. I don't care who wins. Like, if Cody wins, he doesn't become a bigger star because he won this Crown Jewel championship. If Liv wins, she doesn't become a bigger star because she won this Crown Jewel championship. It means nothing. So for me, this is a bit of a waste of time. Certainly this match where we've got heel versus heel, which makes no sense whatsoever, because who the flip am I meant to cheer for? I don't care for Liv. She's a heel. I don't care for Nia. She's a heel. So what am I meant to do there? Just watch. just watch and just be like, oh, well, this is a thing that's happening. So the booking for this in places is bonkers in my mind. But Nia against Liv, I honestly thought we would change this. And part of me still wonders if something's going to happen on Raw. We know what happens on SmackDown. The spoilers are out there. But I don't know if this will change before we get to it. At this point, I'm thinking probably not. I'm thinking this is the match. Have you noticed how they have tried to make Tiffany sympathetic? How they have tried to make Tiffany come across as a bit more like a face? Because they know that this is heel versus heel. There's no one to root for unless you're a Liv stan or a Nia stan. So they're trying to make Tiffany the focus of this. I have zero doubt, and I'm sure you do as well, Tiffany will get involved. Whether she successfully cashes in, I don't know. She could come down to the ring, try to cash in, and then get wiped out, you know? It could be one of those where it doesn't actually get cashed in, but she will be down there. No doubt she will have that moment where she has to decide, or she's handing the briefcase over, because this doesn't make any sense otherwise. They've tried to make Tiffany sympathetic, and I really wonder if they'll pull the trigger here. I wonder if she will actually get the title off Nia. I don't think she gets it off Liv. But I wonder if she does cash in on Nia, and then that takes the story in a whole new direction. Again, we've seen Nia for weeks now abusing Tiffany, being off with Tiffany. Tiffany may snap on the show. We may get the cash in here. We may get it. If not, it's just going to be more of the teasing. It's going to be more of the, no, I wasn't cashing in on you, Nia, blah, 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 right? I think in regards to who wins, it's probably Liv. I can't see Liv losing. I think like Nia will lose and it will end up somehow being Tiffany's fault. So like Liv gets the win for me. Over in this match, I think this is a bit more intriguing because at least there's a babyface and a heel, right? So this is more intriguing, and it's a match that legit I think people want to see. No one cares about seeing that as a match. That is the match I think people actually want to see. So this is better, right? I think that Cody gets this. And the reason why I think Cody gets this is because I don't think we want Cody losing, even though he could, because he doesn't lose his title, right? And this championship means nothing, the Crown Jewel thing. So he absolutely could, and that would be great for Gunther. But I think we all know what's happening, right? There's big rumors that Gunther Goldberg is on the horizon. Gunther called out Goldberg at Bad Bloods. Goldberg is a legend. He's got some star power, even if people don't really like him anymore, or some people don't like him anymore after, like, you know, he beat the Fiend and whatnot. I think that he is still someone that the Saudi crowd will pop for. I could see him absolutely getting involved, costing Gunther. Cody gets the win. He, you know, remains unblemished. Gunther loses. He's going to be livid. Sets up Gunther versus Goldberg, right? So we've spoke about my Crown Jewel Championship frustrations. I think it's a load of nonsense. This show would be so much better if we had, like, Cody defending his title against a real threat and the belt was actually on the line. You know, none of these titles are on the line. Neither of the men's or women's world championships are on the line. I can't say they won't change hands because of Tiffany, of course. So we could see a title change because of Tiffany. But going into the show, none of these major titles are going to be changing hands, and I think that's a real shame. Like, I think that's something like people always enjoy, is like, do you think we'll get a new champion? Well, we ain't going to get a new champion unless Tiffany cashes in, right? So that's my rant about Crown Jewel Championship, my rant about the Fatal 4-Way and the little tweak I'd make to it, my rant about heel versus heel, which I hate. And then I got one more rant, right? This is a ranting stream. I got one more rant because I'm a boomer. So this is a tweet that I put out. And the reason that I put this tweet out is because I saw a spoiler, right? If you go to Wikipedia, you will see there is another match, which we have not mentioned. And it's not been announced yet, right? And it's a big match. And there's images and footage that's doing the rounds. I wouldn't even mind if there were spoilers, but these are big spoilers. These are big moments. These are big things that we look forward to and all that kind of stuff, right? So it's not like, you know, Natalya against Naomi who wins, you know? I can deal with that, like some random match who wins, right? But this is big stuff. So I just put this out as a result, right? WWE have got to sort out the taped show situation, right? They managed to botch it twice, actually, because the show we were watching live, or we thought was live, had actually been taped earlier in the day. And so that meant all the spoilers for that show were on social media. So whilst we were watching that, they were then taping next week's show, which then meant when we went on social media afterwards, all the spoilers for that were on social media. So both shows, both SmackDowns, this week's and next week's, both of those shows were spoiled. They found a way of doing a TV taping where both of the weeks that they've taped, spoilers went out before the show's aired. It's impressive. It's actually impressive with, like, the fact that they were able to do that. Find a way of spoiling both weeks. So we've got to sort this tape show situation out. They have absolutely botched the hell out of this, right? Major storyline points are spoiled, ruined, because they couldn't execute the story a week earlier. So the point I'm making is, forget criticizing if things were rushed and all that. Let's just say we still do everything we did. Why couldn't we have done it a week earlier? Absolutely everything we've done, just a week earlier. Why couldn't we have done that? Right? I'm sure we could have found a way of dropping a few things, or, like, you know, some weeks where, like, I don't know, Rhea comes running out and starts beating up on Liv for, like, the 50th week in a row. How about we don't do that for a week, right? How about we just move it all, shift it all a week earlier and do, like, you know, get everything in place? I mean, look, he's doing the booking. Triple H is doing the booking. Why we have to have major plot points and talking points executed on taped shows so that the spoilers get out there. I just think that this is really bad booking. This is a black mark against Triple H's name. Taped go-home shows. So, okay, people are like, okay, well, we've got to tape the show. So what do you want to do, right? Well, first of all, I'd say do we? Because you could probably do SmackDown in Saudi Arabia, because actually Raw is going to be in Saudi Arabia. So why can't you do SmackDown in Saudi Arabia? Putting that to one side, if you have to tape it, right, then it should be some mid-card matches, right? As we said, Natalya, Naomi, they've had a bit of a falling out. You do the match. No one's going to care about that being spoiled, right? Go home promos. I'm going to beat you. Security come down, pull them apart. No one's going to care, right? You know, you've got Gunther and Cody going at each other and security come down and whatever, right? That's fine. We can deal with those things, right? That's fine. These aren't major developments, right? These aren't major plot points, right? And then I would add plenty of backstage recordings that the crowd never saw, including the main event match, which I would do the main event match as like a boiler room brawl. This is a great opportunity to do a match away from the crowds, and then that way the result doesn't get spoiled. Why didn't we do like a boiler room brawl or a backstage brawl or something like that where it's done in the backstage areas? That way the crowd never see it, the results are never out there. We could do that. I hope you see this, Triple H. I'm so annoyed. So annoyed. There's just no way of avoiding the spoilers. You cook a lot, right? I wasn't that annoyed. I still like him. Thank you, by the way. But you dropped the dish all over the floor on this one, right? So that was my rant, and that was my reason for my rant, was because I saw a match that has not been announced yet, and it's a major match. And I was like, oh, there's just no way of avoiding him. So, I'd had enough. So, I do think they need to sort that out. They do need to sit down and give that consideration and kind of talk that through and figure out a better way forwards. In regards to that match, I'm just going to pick the heels, right? I'll pick the heels. And again, if you want to know what that match is, go to Wikipedia. Other little bits. John Cena, will he make an appearance? Maybe. I'm not expecting it. Charlotte, will she make an appearance? Not expecting it. Haven't heard that she's cleared. So really can't say that I'm expecting much in the way of surprises. I did have a look to see what a few websites were predicting. They're not really predicting much either. You know, not expecting like Alexa, not expecting Charlotte, not expecting Cena, not expecting Hikuleo, who's rumored to be going to NXT. So, yeah, not expecting anything like that. But I don't know. I think it'll still be a good show. Definitely not a perfect show, in my opinion. But still, I'll take wrestling on a Saturday any opportunity I can. So it is great to have like a big show to enjoy. And as we said, we will be live watching whatever goes down, however this plays out. We will be live enjoying it over on the Wrestling Daze watch along. So if you're around, pop in, say hello, share your thoughts. Want to hear from you as well. Get your thoughts into the chat and join in the conversation. So thanks a lot for watching. Appreciate the support. I will see you again next time. Bye for now.